To begin your pen techniques drawing, you're going to be using one sheet of paper for 4 objects. And so if I take and fold my paper in half both directions, so I have the fold lines to guide me, that would be the perfect setup of the page. And I can put one drawing on each fourth of the page. So I have that. I also have one simple object here for us to draw, or for me to show you as an example. You do not have to draw a coffee cup. It's just an example of what you might choose. So you are picking your own objects from home. So starting out in pencil, you are drawing the outline of the shape of the object so that it fills up most of that quarter of your page. So I want to get the oval edge of the top. I want to look carefully at how this curves in and then out again at the bottom, and try to make the 2 sides of it to be symmetrical the best I can. If you need to sketch first, if you need to erase or make improvements, you should do that as you go to get the best possible shape. And then I'm going to show the handle where I can see it, how it starts here and it comes out and ends up down here, and how thick it is. So it's a pretty quick shape to draw. Now, using the pen, if you don't have a ultra thin Sharpie, use a black pen. Just know that it might have some running issues when we get to the later part of this project where we're adding color with watercolor. So I want to create my edges now as pen lines. I can show the thickness of the edge of the cup. All the way around. I want to start to create the values with the pen techniques that we practiced. In the inside of the opening of the cup, there's a pretty good shadow in here. And it gradually gets lighter as it moves out from this darkest area. I started where it was darkest with lines that are close together, and then I want to try to let them blend out lighter as they move to the sides. Most all of the rim of the cup is a highlight, so for now at least I'm going to leave that all white. And then when I move on to looking at the side, the outside of the cup, now I want to look at where are the values there, and how can I show them the best so that they are separated and have contrast to the inside. So I'm looking at a shadow that follows the shape. So I have lines that are close together here. This is about the darkest shadow that I can see from my point of view. And same way as before, I'm going to allow the lines to spread out a little bit. Now I could have used dots of stippling. I could have chosen to cross hatch. Because this cup is white, all of its values are pretty light. And because it's very smooth in its texture, I thought that choosing plain hatching lines would be the best option. So I want it to get lighter in here. And then it's a little bit darker again on this edge. So the more that you're able to create that change of values, the more successful your shading is going to be. So that is what I'm looking for on your shaded drawings. I can't forget the handle. The handle actually has a bunch of different shadows to it. It kind of shows the side here and the top. So I want to add another edge line. And so on the side part of the handle, it's a little darker than on the inside. And here on the side, it's a little darker than on the top. And so I felt like using the shorter lines would be easier to control for that. It's a little bit darker in here where it curves, but that doesn't go all the way up for me from my point of view. So I'm just trying to show that I'm really looking carefully at it. As I look back at the bottom edge, then it's got kind of curves under, and so there's a little extra shadow towards the bottom. And the cast shadow that comes out from it is a little hard to see on the dark table where I'm sitting, but the cast shadow basically going this way. This might be an area where I would switch over really to cross hatching to try to make sure that I get it darker significantly than the cup. So I want to be sure I'm looking at its shape. And I want to be sure that I have contrast between the cast shadow and the object. So the more lines I have, the closer together they are, the darker they're going to look. I'm going to add just a third set in here to make sure that I can really see the difference between the cast shadow and the cup. So now you should try it.